Welcome everyone to the beginner's tutorial for DIYing e-liquid. So let's get started. This is going to be probably a longer video. It's going to have a lot more editing than normal, and we're going to go over some pretty in-depth tips and other things on what to do when you're starting out DIYing, where to go, what to buy, that kind of stuff. So let's get started. All right, so the first note is why DIY? Now, there's plenty of reasons to DIY, but one of the most prominent is the cost. The cost is what basically is the main factor in DIY. Other than being able to make your own flavors and all that fun stuff, cost is the main reason. You save a ton of money compared to premium e-juice. And when I say a ton, I do mean a ton. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole how much it costs exactly thing and, mathematics of spending this much and everything. Wayne Walker has a really good breakdown of that on his YouTube channel, so go check that out, DIY or Die. He has a really good price breakdown, but you're looking at about $1.30 to $3 per bottle. $3 is if you're using a lot of costly flavors like Flavora and Flavor Art, that kind of stuff. But if you stick with TFA and Capella's, even Capella's a little bit on the pricey side, but TFA and maybe Flavor West even, you're going to save a lot of money. So the next reason to DIY is because you get to customize your flavor profile. This is something that is very appealing to a lot of people. Instead of going out and buying something that somebody made and says, hey, this tastes good, when it tastes like shit, you can make it exactly the way you want it. So you want, a vanilla cupcake with strawberries on top, whatever. You can do that with the flavors that we have available. Now, it's not like you're going to be able to make a fucking turkey dinner, but you can make pretty much anything you can think of. So, except for a turkey dinner, of course, and you'll save a lot of money in the process. All right, so the second thing that we're going to talk about is safety. Safety is the number one most important key. This is vital to your DIY mixing. Now, safety is something that you really want to pay attention to, and you want to make sure that you're staying in good habits. So, clean bottles, not cross-contaminating your flavors, which I am personally a bit of I do it. Let's just put it that way. I reuse pipettes sometimes, and yeah. But back into the safety part of things, pick yourself up some gloves. Sorry, I'm just looking at my monitor to make sure that everything is good. Pick up some gloves. Okay, these are like $14 for a 100-pack on Amazon. Just pick them up. When you're handling nicotine, especially in high concentrates like 100 milligram, I personally use 60 milligram right now, at least until that runs out, and then I'll be moving up to 100. But when you're using high concentrations of nicotine, you're looking at several risks. You're looking at getting it on your skin. You're looking at getting it in different areas of your body, in your mouth and all that. I'm not saying you will just normally get it in your mouth, but there's always a chance. Getting it in your eyes, you want to be careful. That is very important. So get some gloves, put them on when you mix, make good habits. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the VG and PG. What is VG and PG? VG and PG stands for vegetable glycerin and propylene glycol. Now, vegetable glycerin is used in a lot of hair products, skin products, and it's one of the main components, and it's used for moisturization of your skin and all of that. And PG stands for propylene glycol. I don't know if I already said that or not, but PG is basically a thing that is used in farm animal feed sometimes. So they're both USP grade. You want to make sure that you get USP grade VG, PG nicotine if it's available. I don't know if USP grade nicotine is a thing. I might be wrong on that. But you want to get as much USP grade stuff as possible because it is what is going to keep you safe. Next up, nicotine. So this is one of the things that is not required, and it is something that you can use or not use. It's up to you. If you want to get off cigarettes or you just like the feel of nicotine, the throat hit, then go with nicotine, but make sure you are safe with it. Like I said in the previous part, wear gloves, make sure you keep it away from pets, make sure you keep it away from children, make sure you keep it away from all that. It's not a joke. So, nicotine is nicotine. I can't really explain it any better. I don't know where it's derived from. I believe it's derived from tobacco leaves, but I might be wrong on that. There are some nicotines out there like tobacco-free nicotine that are coming on the market where it's synthesized. Check that out if you want to. I don't know if they sell it. But nicotine is what's going to give you your throat hit. It's what's going to give you your nicotine. And, you know, PG kind of gives you a bit of a throat hit, but nicotine is what gives you mainly your throat hit. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. So the next topic is VG and PG ratios. Now, this is something that gets asked a lot. What ratio should I mix at? You know, what do I want to mix at? Blah, blah, blah. So there are a few ratios that you want to consider mixing at. If you're using something like a cartomizer or, you know, like if you're still on like the, what's it called? Nautilus, you're going to want to consider going with like a 50-50 blend because those tanks have a harder time wicking efficiently with a higher VG juice. But if you're using something like the latest sub-ohm tank or whatever, 70-30 is perfectly fine. So that's 70 VG, 30 PG. So the next thing is the percentages. So a lot of people get confused with these percentages, and it's something that can get, it honestly is confusing. When I first started, it was really confusing, and it was something that I didn't, you know, really get at the time. But once you pick it up, it's really easy. So let's explain this, let's break it down a little bit, and let's kind of talk what percentages mean. So when you get a bottle of e-liquid, okay, you have a recipe in front of you, and the recipe percentages go down, and you've got, maybe you look at a recipe and it says 3% strawberry ripe and 3% strawberry sweet, whatever, and you're probably like, well, what does that mean? Well, when you have a recipe, you have milliliters, you have grams, and then you have the percentage, okay? Now, the percentages are what's going to make up the flavorings and the VG and the nicotine. So say, like I said, you have that 3% solution, and it's in a 10 ml bottle, you'd have 0.3 of that, okay? So if you have 3% and of your flavoring, it'd be 0.3. Now, it kind of varies when you're using different things. Like if you're using a VG dominant liquid, like from Liquid Barn, you know, it's going to be a little bit thicker, so the grams are going to go up. Okay, but if you're using a PG base flavor, which most flavors are in PG, you're looking at about 0.3 grams. Now, how do I measure this out? What's the best way to measure this out? And, you know, it's really confusing. So the best way to do that is with either syringes or a scale. Syringes and scales are two things that a lot of people either go one way or the other. You know, one person likes syringes, one person loves scales. Personally, I love scales. They're easier for me. They make it fun, and I don't have to do a bunch of cleanup afterwards. So syringes, you would draw it up and you'd go by the milliliter count. Okay, so when you put it into your calculator, and I'll get into calculators in a minute, when you put it into the calculator, it's going to say bring up this amount of milliliters. When you put it in grams for the scale, it's going to say put this amount of grams in. So you put your bottle in, you tear the scale out, drop the amount of drops to get to that desired gram that it calculates, if that makes any sense whatsoever. That sounded awful, but basically you put the drops in, it goes up in grams, you hit that gram mark, you stop. Okay, next up, e-liquid calculators. So this is 100% essential when you're mixing e-liquid. It'll save you so much time. You don't have to worry about calculating everything. It's a pain in the ass to do it yourself, and it's just so much easier. So what are we going to be using? We're going to be using eliquidrecipes.com. Link is in the description, and it's a calculator that basically shows you what you need to put in. Now, I'm going to put some scrolling images on probably right about around here, and it's going to explain you know, the recipe, the amount to make, the milligrams of Dick that you want, your PG-VG ratio that you want, and then your PG of Nick, or if it's VG dominant, you know, you put like, if you have, say, a 50-50 blend of nicotine, you put 50 PG, 50 VG, and then you would go on down. And we're going to actually go in right now and check it out and see exactly what we need to do. All right, guys, so here we are at eliquidrecipes.com. This is the calculator that you're going to be using and the website you'll also be using to find your recipes. Now, it's pretty dead simple to make a recipe, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So first off, you're going to need to make an account to save your recipes. So go ahead and go over to user and make an account there. And we're going to go to create recipe. Okay, so let's talk about it. So you've got the recipe name, pretty self-explanatory. You've got the amount to make. So this is how many milliliters you're going to make. So if you have like a 10 ml bottle, you'd make 10 mils. If you have a 30 milliliter bottle, you'd use 30 mils. Your desired strength, which is your nicotine milligrams. So you would set this to 3 if you want a 3 nic, or if you want 6 nicotine or 12, whatever you want, set it in there. Water, vodka, and PGA, you're going to leave at 0. I never use it. So next up is your desired PG and VG. So this is where you're going to have your blend. So if you want a 70-30, so 70 VG, 30 PG, that's what you'd set. If you want max VG, you just click max VG right there. Next, you're going to enter in the strength of the nicotine solution that you have. So if you bought 100 milligram nicotine, you'd enter in 100. And then you'd enter in the PG content of the nicotine. So say we have a max VG nic blend, you'd enter that in. Next, you're going to add your flavors. So say you have, Red Touch strawberry. So we'll just use that as an example. So we'll type in Red Touch, put that in, and then you want to put the percentage in that you want. So say we wanted it 2%. Okay, it's a good range to use it at. There you will have your flavor, and if you scroll down, you'll see here it says the amount of nicotine in grams to use, what percentage it's at, the milliliters to use, the PG and the VG, same as what I just explained, and then the flavoring. So it separates it all and shows you exactly what you need. It shows you the totals, 100% is what it equals, and there you go. That is how you do that, guys. And then it'll tell you your flavor total down here, your PG-VG ratio, your nicotine strength, milligrams per milliliter, and yeah. So that's how you do that. So let's head back over and do some more talking. All right, so now that we've done the quick once over of the e-liquid calculator and kind of explained a few things, we're going to go ahead and talk about steeping. This is something that you're definitely going to want to do, and it's very important for certain liquids. So what is steeping? Steeping is known as steeping or aging or curing. It's basically where you leave your liquid and let it sit in a cool, dark place and let it bind together. You're letting the molecules bind together and become more homogeneous with the recipe. So what requires steeping? This is probably a question that a lot of people have. Custards, bakeries, desserts, you've got creams, and there's a lot of stuff. There's cereals that require steeping. There's a lot of stuff out there that requires steeping. But what doesn't require steeping? What can I throw together real quick that doesn't require any steeping? Fruits are one of the main things. Fruits are great because they don't really require any steeping time. You just shake them and vape them, or shake and vape as we call it. You're going to want to get familiarized with a lot of these terms. And I'm actually going to go over some of these terms in the flavors so you can get a little more, in the loop with the flavor company names and the abbreviations. So next up is developing a recipe. A lot of people don't even know where to start when developing a recipe, and it's very confusing. I got really confused when I was like, what do I put in here to make this and this? So one of the things that you need is a flavor, and you can do tons of flavors. For example, I have here Capella's Vanilla Custard V2. This is a 4-ounce bottle. I just bought a lot of it because I use it a lot. So say I have that, and I want like a strawberries and cream. So maybe I'll throw a little bit of Bavarian cream in there, a little bit of sweet strawberry, and maybe some Flavor Art Red Touch. Let that steep for a week and you're solid. You'll get a nice creamy vape, and it's a really nice vape. But again, what percentages do I put in? Well, this comes with practice. This is something that is going to take a while to develop. It's not something that you're just going to pick up right on the bat. You're going to have to figure out different things, what percentages work at what percentage. I use vanilla custard at a lower percentage, 1 to 2 maybe, and then Bavarian cream at 1 to 2. Strawberry, I'll throw that in at maybe 5% strawberry sweet and 2% red touch. You'll get a nice strong note of strawberry, and then a back end of vanilla custard and Bavarian cream. And when that strawberry dies down after steeping, it will get a lot more molded together, and it'll taste a lot more homogeneous. So let's talk about some of the flavor companies. So we've got Capella's, we've got Inawera, we've got TFA or TPA, as some may call it. TPA stands for the Perfumer's Apprentice, or TFA stands for the Flavor Apprentice. If you've been around for a while, they used to be called the Flavor Apprentice, and now they're called the Perfumer's Apprentice. Flavor art, you've got just a ton of flavors out there. I don't know if I mentioned Flavora. There's just a ton of them out there. Now, what are the best things to start off with? You know, people look at the cost of starting DIYing and they're like, oh man, this is expensive. You know, it's about $100 to start up with the nicotine PG and VG and all that if you buy it in bulk. And it's really, it's daunting. You know, people don't want to jump right into this and say, oh, I hate this, you know. So let's go over the cheaper flavors first. So the two cheaper flavors or flavoring companies are Flavor West and TFA. So Flavor West is basically, they're good. They have some good flavors. They also have some bad flavors, in my opinion. TFA is the same. You know, they run about $1.49 for a 10 mil, I believe, for TFA. And they're the better solution to get started because they're cheaper. They don't cost as much. But with more expensive flavors like Capella's and Flavor Art and Flavora, they're more concentrated. So you use less and you pay a little more. Now, there are other companies out there like Loran's, and they make some great flavors. I actually have a few of them. And if you watch my last vape mail video, you saw I got some in. And they make some great flavors. Their watermelon is exceptionally good from what I hear. I haven't tried it yet, but I know it's great from what I hear. So, you know, what I would suggest is going on to ELR, which stands for eLiquid Recipes, and that's a website, links in the description, and just go through some of the top rated recipes and read through the flavors and maybe pick a recipe, buy those flavors and try it. The reason I recommend this is because these are recipes that are highly rated, tried and tested. They're great recipes, and you know, you can kind of get a feel for mixing. You know, I don't expect you just to hop right in and start mixing away and, oh, I'm going to throw this together and this together and this together. And, you know, I don't expect you to do that. What I expect you to do is to go on ELR, look at some recipes, pick something out, and mix away. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the recipe of the day, which is going to be a simple recipe to get you started. It's only, I believe, 2 or 3 ingredients, and it's something that will make your life a lot easier. So, without further ado, let's get started. All right, so here we are down on the mixing table, and basically we've got our scale set up, and we've got our mixer ready. We've got a pipette, which is very dirty. I apologize for that. That's just for the Juicy Peach, which that's pretty much what I've been using it for. We've got Flavor Art Red Touch Strawberry and Capella's Sweet Strawberry. Okay. Now we're going to be doing a 30 ml batch of this, and we're going to be doing it at 3 nicotine. So, before we even start, let's grab our gloves here. Gloves are very important. You should not mix without them. I'm having difficulty. All right, gloves. Almost dropped it. All right, so the gloves are on. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is grab my nicotine. Now I have my nicotine in a little bottle here. This is just basically what I put my nicotine in. I'm going to grab a bottle here. Got all my bottles in a little plastic thing. So we'll grab our bottle right there. So let's pop our bottle on our scale, turn it on. Now with nicotine, you want to shake this well. Not shaking it well is going to result in bad times. You'll get hot spots. It's no bueno. You want to shake it very well. Hold the top while you do if you have one of these bottles, and shake it really well. If it's in VG, you want to shake it as much as possible. It's not as bad in PG, but you want to make sure you shake it real well. So there's our nicotine shaken up. So let's start with the first 0.93 grams. Here we go. Now I'm going to leave it a little bit lower just because I don't want to go over, and you know, I'd rather stay under than go over with my nicotine. So I'm actually going to pull the scale up a little bit so I can see it better. All right, So let's start with the flavoring. So first up is Juicy Peach by TFA. This is in at 5.5%, so 1.65 grams. Grab our little pipette here, and we'll start dripping it in. I am really not used to working with 30 ml bottles. Now, I went a tiny bit over. It's okay to go a little bit over on your 30 mils and 60 mils. Try to avoid that with 10 mils. So next up is Red Touch. And gotta tear that out again. Come on. There we go. Now, with Red Touch, we've got this in at 1.5% or 0.45 grams. Okay, 0.45 grams is in. Next up is Sweet Strawberry by Capella. This is in at 5.5%. Make sure to shake your flavors well. You don't want them to have the concentration at the top with the alcohol. It's no bueno. You want to shake them well and make sure they're all nice and blended together. All right, so Sweet Strawberry is in at 5.5% or 1.65 grams. Whoa, I just shot that everywhere. Okay, I'm really shooting this everywhere. Let me, wow. Good one, me. Jeez. Sorry about that, everyone. Oh my God, I'm, ugh. All right, I'm gonna leave that a little bit under. Oh, I just dropped it. All right, let's give the scale a quick cleanup. Always keep paper towels handy, because stuff like this can happen. You can make mistakes. Not gonna cut that out. Not gonna redo this because you know what? It shows that mistakes happen. It's not something that you can avoid. It happens. All right, next up is the VG and PG. So we're looking at 26.45 grams of VG here. So let's get that in. Got a little bit of hair on there. I don't know how that happened. Take that off. I'm making a mess right now. I'm making an absolute mess. Okay, went a little bit over, but that's all right. It's not perfect science here. I'm gonna give this another cleanup. Sorry, I know I'm very messy today, but it's just VG. It's not gonna hurt you. All right, back to mixing. So now we need 4.51 of PG, 4.51 grams. This stuff is very thin, so be careful with it. A little bit more. There we go. All right. She is full up. All right, so the last thing to do is grab our mixer, pop it in the bottle, give it a good blend. That should do her. Now, alternatively, if you don't have a mixer, you can always just shake the bottle. I just use a mixer because it's quicker. But whatever you have available. Pop our cap on. Like so. And there we are. There is our finished bottle of e-liquid. So take your gloves off. Make sure to dispose of them. And let's go back up top, give it a vape, and we'll talk about it. All right, so we're back up top, and we've got our freshly blended bottle of e-liquid ready to be tasted. So I've got a Coolfire TC100, Coolfire 4 TC100, and you know, I usually use an RX200, but it's charging. This is my wife's mod, actually. That's why it's rose gold. So Coolfire 4 TC100 and the Velocity 1, or the first version, clone. So let's go ahead and drip some. All right, here we are. You get the peach. Get some strawberry. The strawberry is not as prominent, but I have found that the strawberry does take over a little while after about a day. So when I was mixing before and trying to figure out the percentages for this recipe, I dropped it down actually from my original mix, which is right here, and I dropped it down because it was too heavy on the strawberry. So that was it, DIY e-liquid. Very simple, very fun, quick and easy. Takes about 5 minutes to do a mix once you get it down and figure everything out. So, if you guys like the video, please click that like button, click the subscribe button, share the video to help other people out. And I hope this helped you. If it didn't, let me know in the comments. Let me know ways I can improve, and I will work on it. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and a comment. Everything that you can buy will be in the description below where you can buy it. And it's mainly going to be Essential Depot, Liquid Barn, and Bull City Vapor. You can also check out eSig Express, which will also be in the description below. That's where you can buy your flavors. Your VG and PG you can buy from Essential Depot or Liquid Barn. Your nicotine, I would recommend buying from Liquid Barn. It's a bit more on the pricey side, but they use TrueNic, so that is an option to choose from. And I recommend using TrueNic. I actually use, what's it called? I have it up in my shelf up there. I believe it is My Freedom Smokes nicotine. I don't know what they use in it, so, you know, I can't really vouch for it. But I have had some decent experience with it. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and a comment, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.